Devante Busby is running out of time. It's do or die. He's got no more years of practice squad eligibility left. He's been cut 6 times. He's been on 3 different teams. He's only played in 4 career games. And at 25 years old, Bausby, believe it or not, he's the oldest cornerback currently on the Eagles roster. He's been a name that's been talked about during OTAs. And here's what Jim Schwartz had to say about him, saying that he's caught the Eagles' eye from last year while being on the scout team. So let's hear from Jim Schwartz.
He's a competitive player. He did a really good job for us, on the scout teams last year. He was ready to play for us last year if need be. He did a great job, not just on the practice field, but in the meeting room, being up on the game plan. And we were fortunate that we didn't have so many injuries there that he needed to go. But he was ready, and he had the confidence of the coaching staff. He's sort of spread his wings a little bit, working at some different positions. He's a very, very competitive player. He's got good size, but his competitiveness stands out. And, you guys will see that. You didn't see him in training camp last year. You guys will see that in training camp this year. And I'm excited about him. We are all excited about the contributions that he made to our team last year and what he can do this year. And, again, his contributions were behind the scenes last year. But, we have a lot of guys that have an effect on Sunday that might not be playing. He worked the offense hard last year. I think those guys have respect for him, and I know our coaches have respect for him.
All right. So at 6'1", 190 pounds, this is the first time that Bausby has seen snaps out of the slot position. He's always been on the outside. But he could be somebody that could actually challenge for the starting nickel cornerback position. Obviously, there's been a huge vacancy since Patrick Robinson left. They drafted Avonte Maddox out of Pittsburgh. But if you watch the film on him, he's really, really raw. And I think it's going to take at least a year for him until he's really ready to play consistently. You could go somewhere else in the slot. You could go Jalen Mills or whatever. But maybe it's Bausby. Maybe it will be Bausby. But we're going to know a little bit more about him once training camp rolls around, once the preseason rolls around. So it's great that he's making an impression right now. And obviously he made an impression last year while being on the scouting team. But the difference is going to be what he does this summer. But he's got everybody's eye, and he'll be a guy to watch come the summertime. So here's a little audio clip of Jim Schwartz kind of talking about all the guys that they've been rotating in that slot position.
It sort of goes to our linebacker position there also. You're gonna see a lot of different guys in there. You'll see Jalen Mills in there at times. You'll see some other players like DJ Killens, who was here last year. Bausby's been in there. Sidney was in there.
So those are all the guys that have kind of been in the slot, and obviously a lot of different names. There could be a lot of different reasons for why they're trying out so many guys in the slot. One, they're looking for a slot guy. Two, they talk about positional versatility all the time. Obviously, not just in the secondary. You could even say along the defensive line. Guys like Brandon Graham, Michael Bennett, who could line up as a defensive end, but also line up inside as well. And you look at the back half of the defense, guys like a Jalen Mills, guys like Corey Graham last year, not only playing safety, but cornerback as well. So if there's a lot of depth at corner for the Birds and Bausby emerges, I kind of made this video, a couple of days ago about Jalen Mills and him potentially moving to safety. Well, if you have a guy like Bausby emerge and he provides some really, really good, strong nickelback play, that makes the decision easier to potentially move Mills. Because if you got guys like Sidney Jones and Ronald Darby and Rasul Douglas, you kind of got depth at that cornerback spot. Maybe you want to play Mills elsewhere, because that Corey Graham role was pretty important last year. He played a lot more once the end of the season came. It basically, here's what basically happened. Jordan Hicks got hurt. After Jordan Hicks got hurt, opposing offenses were exploiting the linebackers with tight ends and running backs. So the counter to that was not only playing Malcolm Jenkins more at linebacker, but also having Corey Graham get more of the snaps. We saw him line up against Evan Ingram late in the season against the Giants, and obviously played a pivotal role in the postseason. So we're seeing a lot of guys rotate in the slot, and Jim Schwartz kind of talked about the why to that and why it's important to be able to play the nickel position and be able to line up in that nickel spot.
It's sort of cross-training a lot of different guys. First of all, corners have to be able to play the nickel, a lot of their nickel techniques when the wide receivers are over in slot formations anyway. So that's part of their learning process, is learning those techniques. But again, be able to be multidimensional, have a lot of different looks in there. Some guys will keep strictly outside, but we have a significant portion that'll cross-train. We even have some guys that'll cross-train safety position and corner. Again, going back, that was a big part of our success down the road, was having Malcolm be able to play a lot of those and fill in a lot of different positions. We value versatility, and that's a big part of the training this time of year.
See, that's the other thing about this, too, is maybe you don't fill the nickel spot with just one guy. You could rotate a bunch of different guys in that position. Maybe you want to play matchups. Maybe there's a certain cornerback that favors a certain receiver over another, and you want to play him. Maybe you want to get more of those three safety looks. You have Jalen Mills play safety, and you can line them out in the slot, because obviously the safeties, they got to line up inside too. So Bausby maybe earning this nickel spot, if this does come to fruition, just because he earns it doesn't mean he's going to see maybe the same percentage of snaps that Patrick Robinson saw last year, because maybe you're also throwing in Jalen Mills in the slot. Maybe when you're facing a team that has a number one that's basically a slot guy, like, say, Jarvis Landry, plays most of his time in the slot, maybe that's where you want to put in a Darby or a Sidney Jones if they're showing signs that they can play the slot. As you know, we're seeing here in OTAs, a lot of different guys are getting rotated in that position. So it's something to keep an eye on this summer as the season comes along. You know, what kind of adjustments is the defense making? What are they doing to fill in for Patrick Robinson at that slot position? Is it going to be kind of a slot by committee, or are they just going to go one different guy? We'll see. We shall see. It's going to be a fun summer. We got a long ways to go until opening night. So with that being said, I'm Adrian Fedkiw. That's the video for today. Take care.